What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the TG Sports podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Gannum, and I'm joined today by Vince Fier, my good friend. Welcome, Vince.
Thank you for having me, Tyler.
Yeah, so Vince is a upcoming freshman at Azusa Pacific University in California, and he's going to be playing college basketball there. So we wanted to give you an in-depth look at what it takes to play at that level. So Vince has been playing basketball since what, like third, fourth grade?
Third grade, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
Great.
what was your overall experience growing up playing basketball? Like, did you play other sports? Was it
Well,
your
I,
only sport?
well, I was actually really a baseball player my whole life until for one of my good friends, dad started an AAU team out in Santa Clarita, which is where I'm from, and we called ourselves Playmakers, and it's still going today, completely different. But yeah, I felt as soon as we had our first practice, I just fell in love with the game, and that's when
A-
I knew.
All right, so after that, did you like dedicate yourself fully to basketball?
Actually, no. I played baseball for another 4 years after that. 4 years, and once I started junior high, I quit baseball and just fully
Okay.
into basketball.
So like most kids, you started off pretty broad in multiple sports and you became more specific as you got older. So when did you like what was the point in your basketball journey where you knew you wanted to play college basketball? Like was it like when you started it was like, "Oh, this is for fun," but when did I was like, "Oh, I actually really want to play college basketball."
It's kind of funny because when you're younger, you just play. Kind of, you're all about what everybody's wearing, what shoes are out, like
Yeah.
how all the fundamental stuff. And as you get once I hit freshman year, I was more serious about and winning and becoming an even better player, working on my weaknesses, unlike I was when I was younger. But I knew once I hit like freshman year, I was going to play college basketball.
Okay,
I
so
knew.
freshman year. And so Vince went to Alamany High School, which is located in the San Fernando Valley of California. So it's a good high school for basketball. They've competed at the highest of state levels. They've had various D1 players and athletes go there. So what was it like going to a school that's more like that's better that's like known for their basketball success compared to like let's say like an average school?
Well, I know going to Al may be a challenge because there's going to be other really, really good players there. I knew I was going to have to compete. I started off my freshman year on JV. Had a really good year. I got moved up to varsity for playoffs and played varsity the rest of my high school career until I graduated. But back Alamany there, I knew I wasn't going to be the guy. I knew I'd have to adjust playing around other players. And I knew I had to work on my weaknesses even more than my strengths because I knew I had to compete against the best. Because I played throughout my high school career, I played guys like Marvin Bagley, who's on the Sacramento Kings now, Troy Brown, who's on Washington Wizards now. So just some of the best players and some really good names, and from different eras too.
So would you say like your mentality was the same throughout all of high school, like going from JV to like more of a role player on varsity to eventually a starting player, or was your mentality always the same that you were just going to be the best player you could be, no matter what the role was?
I knew coach already had in mind who the guys were. I just wanted to do my part, and just do whatever we could to win. Sometimes it'd be frustrating. Sometimes I'd be rolling. I just always I always just kept working hard and kept doing what I had to do.
So obviously in the AAU world, like rankings are a big deal nowadays. It's all about who's got the latest 5-star and 4-star prospects, but not being one of those 5-star, 4-star prospects, did that like affect your mentality at all, or that just motivate you to work harder event down the road?
I knew being not ranked or in anything, would be a challenge because when you're not ranked like some of these guys that are 5 stars, 4 stars, ranked on ESPN, the 24/7 sites, you're gonna have to do some of the recruiting. You're gonna have to reach out to the coaches because most coaches won't know who you are. So if you're struggling to getting recruited and stuff, you have to put yourself out there because there's so many, especially in the state of California. There's millions of high school players that want what you want, especially in this one particular state. So imagine how it's like all over the country. There's so many great players out here. You got to set yourself apart and you got to be talking to coaches before they come to you because that's more ideal to most
Yeah.
players.
Yeah, because like obviously California has is a perfect. It's a great place for basketball players. There's like I think it's the state with the most NBA players out of all the states, and there's a lot of It's a pretty oversaturated market for basketball players. Like you can, like there's a ton of players who've gone on to go to like these D3 JUCO schools and end up becoming these great success stories just because there's so many great players in Southern California. So for the viewers that are like in high school, going into high school, what was the main thing in getting playing time in high school? More specifically on varsity. Like for JV, obviously you were like one of the more talented guys. So like you obviously were one of the main scorers. But what helped you get playing time on varsity? And what were like the most important things you did on varsity that got you that playing time?
Well, it's funny because sophomore year I didn't play as much as I wanted to because our team was very, very, very loaded. Sophomore year was by far the most stacked team I've been on out of my 4 years. It was very tough, and considering myself as a sophomore, and there are other guys, juniors and seniors, obviously would get ahead of me, but I I just kept working. I stuck with it. I didn't give up on myself. I just kept working and did what I had to do.
All right, so now you talked about getting recruited in AU and how you had to personally reach out to coaches and do your best. What was So when you're getting recruited in AU, does most of it happen for like the viewers at home who are like growing up in the AU scene who don't know much about it? When does most of the recruiting happen? In the summer, in the spring, during high school season?
Well, first of all, if you want to play, if you're really considering, if you really want to play college basketball, you're going to have to play year round, which means you're going to have to give up a lot. You're going to have to play AAU. You're going to have to get in front of coaches in the spring and the summer, and you're going to still have to play with your high school team. And I believe most of the recruiting happens in the AAU circuit. Unlike, I think the best time you could get recruited during your high school season is if you play in a really good tournament in the top division. Other than that, league play, because their schools are in season two, so they don't have time to recruit during actual basketball season. The only time is spring and summer. So that's why you get on a good AAU team that plays in front of the right coaches, plays in the right tournaments and the viewing events, and you most importantly you gotta reach out to the coaches and the schools that you're interested in.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously you played for various teams in AAU. What set apart the best teams in AAU helping you get recruited from like the worst teams? So what made an AAU team like the best in terms of helping you reach out to college coaches compared to like some of the worst?
Definitely playing in the top division because when I was younger, I played in the lower divisions up, and I realized that doesn't make a difference because if you play in the low divisions, coaches won't go to your games. You gotta be looking to play in the open and the gold divisions where the coaches will be at, you know. So I would say Open Gym Premier Kings and BBC Elite out in Duarte were helped me a lot with my recruiting, and they knew where we had to play. They knew what court we needed to be on, and they knew the teams we had to play in order to get looked at.
All right. So, in getting recruited, obviously you have to sell yourself as a player because every player is different. But what was the most important thing in getting recruited, you believe?
I think the most important thing is, you know, as a basketball player, you got to be able to, score the ball because it's very rare that guys, could score the ball really in various ways. So you gotta show that you could score and you could also lock up on defense and just just and show that you're a hard worker and you're really a gym rat.
Yeah, because I feel like a lot of kids they get up in like the YouTube highlights nowadays, but they have to realize that's like the top like 1% of all the basketball players. So it's not about being the top 1%, it's about trying to fit in within a team and offering skills that fit within any team, such as shooting or defense. So what do you believe is like what when in basketball, obviously like if you're not highly recruited, have you always had that self-belief that you can play college basketball? There wasn't any like ever a moment of doubt?
Absolutely. I know I was gonna play at the next level because of my hard work and my dedication, and I knew I was gonna make it. Whether it seemed down where like there's no way it's happening now, whether I was doing great, but I just stuck with it and I kept believing in myself, and thankfully I have great supportive family and friends who believed in me, and it got me to where I am today.
Yeah, and for the viewers at home, Vince is would you say, a shooting guard who's 6'5" and over 200 pounds. So he obviously has the physical attributes to play at the next level, which is a huge part in him being able to be recruited. So Vince, when being recruited, you obviously have to market yourself to college coaches. How did you do that? So did you have like coaches, your AU coaches, your high school coaches? Like how did you get your name out there?
And first to start off with just me and my mom and my dad, really, we emailed as much coaches as possible, for D1, D2, D3, all levels, literally every level. So I spread myself up, but mainly the D2 level, I would say was mostly
Okay.
where I'm getting myself at. So I emailed like every Cal State in the state, basically, every private school I could have thought of in California, and then some out of state schools, but usually more local schools. And then I talked to and then when I started playing good, my coaches started reaching out for me, helping me get to where I want to be. And
Yeah.
I'm ever grateful for that.
Yeah, because I know I've experienced in my basketball experience playing high school, a lot of kids like, they kind of expect it to come to them based on their talent, but they have to realize unless they're like a highly recruited athlete whose names on social media everywhere, college coaches won't know about them. They have to personally reach out. So that's good that you did that. So you obviously spoke that freshman year of high school, you started working more on your weaknesses and your strengths in your game. So what are for college as your incoming freshman, what areas of your game are you working on your most?
Definitely my athleticism, because I know speed and strength is going to be different at the college level. I would say more strength is more needed but obviously I want to work on my speed, my lateral quickness, my vertical, because I just want to become a better athlete every year, you know.
Yeah.
But coming from playing the best, basically, who are now Division 1 college players playing at a Power 5, some guys in the NBA now playing professional overseas. I I could say I would say I could get it won't be hard to adjust to the new speed at a college level,
Yeah.
but definitely work on all my athleticism. Working with my trainers, Brian Polanese and Matt Mazare, working on my tight ball handling, my shooting, all my skill sets, all my skill sets. But I would say right now I'm focusing more on my athleticism. I go see the track coach at Bishop Alemany, where I just graduated from, 3 days a week, and we work on that at 7 a.m.
That's
Every
good.
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
That's good. So obviously, for the viewers at home, D2 colleges aren't allowed to like have like scheduled practices in the summer, correct?
Right.
So do you know what your schedule looks like for the year? Like, do you know how many times you're gonna be practicing a day, especially like in preseason?
Right. Um, right now it's gonna be looking like a lot. It's the same workload as a D1,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
We just don't, we don't have the ability to practice over the summer with coach around. We could still go to the gym and have open run. The coach just can't be there, but
Okay.
everybody's doing their own thing, so no one's really over at Azusa during the summer, except a few of the old upperclassmen. But yeah, it's just you gotta be able to work on your own. Make sure you're ready for training camp in the fall.
All right. So playing D2 basketball, obviously it's a step up from high school, but what do you think will be the biggest most what do you think will be the biggest key to success at the next level for you?
Learning, you have to be able to humble yourself and open up your mind to what you need to learn. And that's when I'm going to have 8 seniors my freshman year, which is going to be actually very, very good for me, because they could teach me so much on how to be successful, what to do, what not to do at the college level, making sure I'm straight, making sure I'm doing what I need to do. But I think my biggest key for me is just I gotta work twice as hard as I'm working right now, most definitely. So I gotta be even more dedicated to the classroom, because class in school and college is not gonna be like high school anymore. It's gonna be
Yeah.
tough. So I just gotta work twice as hard as I'm working right now.
Yeah.
I think
And Vince, I believe you're redshirting this year, correct?
that's what it's looking like right now.
That's what I
Yes.
was looking at. So what are your goals for this season, and what are your goals for the rest of your college career? Like you obviously eventually want to become a starter, I'm guessing. And so like what are your goals for this year redshirting since you're not playing this year?
Open myself up to possibilities of new things to be learning, especially from see I have, like as I said before, there's like going to be 7 8 seniors on the team, so there's going to be a lot of guys who know how this works and know what they need to do. So I'm just going to try my best to get as much information from them as possible throughout the year, and just settling in the classroom, making sure I got everything down, and just settling in for college. That's really what I'm focusing on right now. It's just settling
Yeah.
because I don't have to worry about playing time or getting in the game. I could just go to practice, work out on my own, do my homework, study, and just settle in.
All right, everyone. That's been the episode with Vince Fier on how to play college basketball. Thank you, Vince, for coming on the show.
Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me, Tyler.
All right, thank you.